YouTube. Good afternoon, lot people. This is Russell E.L. Butler, and this is a special edition of Deep Exposure where we once again have a guest, my friend Kels. And a little bit of housekeeping at the top. Tomorrow I'm going to be going B2B with one of my very old friends, Bullentina, at Mood Ring for their Sillage party. Perfume-themed party at Mood Ring. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be playing with my friend Nicole Misha at Jupiter Disco. Things start off at 8. I'm doing an opening set, and then Nicole Misha will go on late till close. And so now let's get into the meat of the show. Currently, what's playing under me is some of the new ambient music that I've been working on. Just want to say a special shout out and thanks to anyone who's been purchasing Deep House for Lesbians on my Bandcamp. And my goal is for the next couple of months to just continue to release some more ambient music and maybe a little poetry. So now let's get into today's guest, my dear friend Kels. A little bit about Kels. Kels is a triple threat, dancer, digger, and DJ. She had her musical upbringing in Detroit, where she danced for 13 years, surrounded by the people who gave birth to the music and values that exposed her to different realms. Being present and sensitive trained her ear and took her musicality to the next level. In 2018, she started her party and mix series Man Eater in Detroit, which she invited me to one time, where she cultivated unique lineups that connected many talented DJs to share music in spaces that allowed them to shine. Man Eater moved with her to Brooklyn in 2019, where she found a partner in Sean Dubb, and together they have continued to draw crowds to clubs and underground spaces alike. Meanwhile, Kels continues to DJ independently at venues across the states, including Public Records, Spotlight, Dante's Hi-Fi, Hot Mass, and Nowadays. She has a residency at Night Moves, a club designed by LCD Sound System's James Murphy, where you can find her playing an extended 5-hour set each month. As a former elementary school teacher of 8 years, Kels brings her empathetic nature and magnetic spirit to the turntables every time she steps into the booth. Kels is an agent of change, always pushing community to the forefront, aka connecting the cuties. Her musical thought process, practicality, and genre-fluid vinyl collection will take your heart on the voyage you deserve if you're open to it. Thank you, Kels.
Thank you.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling good. I rested this morning, so, just preparing for the weekend, some DJ gigs. Yeah.
Nice. How's the season change up feeling for you?
Well, like my end of summer was kind of ended with my Japan trip, and kind of once I got back here, it was cold. People were wearing pants, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, but yeah, I welcome the change. I'm ready for some fall.
Nice. What have you brought to share with us today? Is there any particular focus on some of the things that you've come to share?
Honestly, it's just like a really mixed bag of that's normally how my bag is always packed, so I packed it really no differently, just like a lot of different stuff.
Nice. Well, I'm going to play one more, and then let's figure out a first tune for you to put on and keep on talking. Okay, so now, what y'all have been waiting for Kels to share some music. So, Kels, what is can you describe like the earliest memory that you have of music?
Yeah. My mom, she took me to like a lot of concerts growing up, and I remember I had like 30 students one time, and I could like name like two concerts for every student that my mom like took me to.
Oh wow,
And the first concert she ever took me to was Christina Aguilera, and
amazing.
there was this like opener that like no one knew, my parents didn't even know, and somehow like I knew every single song, like, and my parents were just like, "This is wild," like, I'm just, how does our kindergartner like, you know this opener when Christina Aguilera wasn't even like huge back then.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just know at a really young age, like I had access to a computer,
Mm-hmm.
my parents' CDs, this, that, I was just always had my hands on listening to new and different things, even
Cool.
when like my parents, didn't even like hand it over to me. Yeah.
Wow. So your parents were really into music.
My mom was just like, she was like a Kiss groupie back in the day, and like a Bob Seger groupie.
Nice.
So she just like
she's
really,
a rocker.
Yeah, she's a rocker, and she's got like a lot of funk in her too. But she just like loved like concerts. So, but like besides like that, my parents like weren't big into like music. My dad was like a professional athlete.
Oh wow.
So, much of my childhood was like sports. Like you're gonna play this. You're gonna do this.
What did you play?
I played. I mean, basketball was like my main thing,
Yeah.
but you know, I played like every sport, even golf. You know, and then like my parents, they opened up like a fitness center. So like we even had like if I wasn't, you know, I was working at the gym if I wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, playing the sport.
Yeah.
So like a lot of like what I connected to like younger was also like jock jams.
Which is like a good kind of I feel like it's one of those entry points into dance music that folks take for granted. Like just the fact that you could hear Pump Up the Jam randomly on an infomercial.
Yeah.
Or like a CNC Music Factory track, like just for 5 seconds or whatever in between Saturday morning cartoons, like that kind of normalizes it.
Yeah.
Or at least tunes your ear to it in a different way, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And when did you start like buying your own music?
I didn't start buying my own music until right after high school, like 2 years into college.
Records, CDs.
Oh, I mean, I had like CDs.
Yeah.
Like growing up, yeah. I was like thinking about this, like for Halloween, like I would get a bunch of candy, and my mom would be like, "All right, if you trade me your candy, like I'll go and buy you 5 CDs." Like,
Oh,
you
awesome.
know? So I was like,
So
yes.
she knew. So your parents knew too. Like Kels
And,
is like into music.
Oh yeah, like and I just still have like tons of like my old CDs, tons of mixed CDs, and
Cool.
yeah. So once I got like torrent and just like then just going to town.
Off to the races, of course. So this first song that you're going to share, can you tell us something about it?
Yeah, since I said my mom was kind of like a rocker, I will play some like classic rock in my sets, and this is one of my favorite songs. I think it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. It's by Jan Hammer, and it's called Don't You Know.
Okay, great.
Would you believe me when I tell you you're the king of my dreams? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you. It just ain't the way it seems. Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? I need you like a desert need train. I would rather like to die. Darling, oh, when I don't see you, so spread your wings and fly. Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? Would you believe me when I tell you you're the king of my dreams? Please don't deceive me when I hurt you. It just ain't the way it seems. Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? I need you like a desert needs rain. I would rather like to die. Darling, when I don't see you, so spread your wings and fly. Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz? Can't you hear my love buzz?
Okay. I was just very struck by that last one, but what was that last tune, Kels?
It's called Love Buzz by the Shocking Blue.
And how have folks been you mentioned off mic that you've been playing it out. How has the response been to this tune?
Well, I think it's familiar because people do know it from like Nirvana, so
Mm-hmm.
it has like a familiar sense, but like people just like really go crazy to it. Everyone's asking me what it is after, like the way they move their bodies to it is really interesting because I mean, if you come to see me DJ by now, you know that it's a little bit of everything, but like, yeah, it's really, just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It takes like special rock records to really make you be able to like move in a,
Of course,
in a way,
of
and
course.
that one can definitely do it.
100%. I'm, of course, one of those who's familiar with the Nirvana version because Bleach was the first Nirvana album that I purchased with my own money. and that summer I happened to go to horse girl camp, and all the girls there were like, it was that weird like youthful zone where it's like a little bit of bullying, but kind of because there's like some like undescribable like even just like friend crush thing going on. Like they really like messed with me, but also like didn't in certain ways because they were like, what's a boy doing here? And so I would just like, finish mucking out stables and like grab my Discman and just like crank Bleach just like and listen to it like on repeat basically throughout the day, like for that whole 2 weeks. And so I knew like from the riff, I knew immediately what it was, and I knew that album had a cover, but I couldn't remember which. And so it's kind of great that because we didn't like share any music about like what we were going to play, just like general concepts and stuff. And so for you to play something that's already like so penetrating and so important to me was just amazing. So those two pieces have something in common, obviously, like a running theme throughout so much popular music is love. What does love in regard to music mean to you? Like, why do you play essentially to love?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely just grew up with like so much love. So love is in me. I'm the oldest of 6 kids.
Wow.
So I've always just been, that's within me. And can you ask that question again?
Yeah. So essentially like, so in playing to something, like what I mean is like kind of taking a theme and building a collection of songs, or a set kind of around that theme. And sometimes, at least in my own experience as a DJ, it's not as linear as something like, okay, this set is going to be entirely about this one thing and everything has to have this one word in it. It's like a artistic pursuit, so it's something that informs your perspective, and you can't always anticipate when it's going to come in, but it is a thing that you're trying to not always like get someone to think about, because at parties, people for the most part are just trying to have a good time and just like shut their brain off or whatever. But to speak in such a thematic way, because that just felt natural. Like we weren't talking about that thematically, and this is something that I just know about you, just seeing you play and like conversations we've had and stuff, and just the kinds of things that you talk about in regard to music online, that it is in your bio as well. It is a theme. It is a consistent theme. So that's kind of what I'm interested in, is like, what is the motivation behind foregrounding that?
Yeah. I guess like when I'm like, I like love like vocals, and I'm like so deeply affected about just words. Like, like I love words.
You really pay attention to the words.
Yeah, and I love words. So like I really like just pay attention to like what that song is saying to me. And so like I try to tend to like tell my story of whatever I'm feeling that day, within that music. And, hopefully there's a lot of love within that. But, some days it's like, it's not, I remember like you posted "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe," and I remember that night when I played it, and I was not having a good day. You know what I mean? I was gonna let you know, like, hey, like, you know what? Some people in here are killing my vibe right now, and like I'm gonna play this, so hopefully I get out of that funk. So it's like, I really do listen to like the words intently, and I know that not everyone listens in the way I do, but I hope for those that do really understand, what messages I'm trying to say. Because right now, I'm not the best with like talking. I'm nervous right now. I'm shaking. But like the way I really do my best talking is like, through the music.
Absolutely. One more question in that regard is like when you're what is your most ideal way to listen to music? Like when because you work at a record store, you are a DJ, your partner is a DJ, you're very immersed in music. There are many different environments in which you experience it. When you were younger, going to a lot of concerts, and when you're a kid, like maybe you had 5 siblings, so it's just like you don't necessarily have the most private space, but like where are you mostly when you're like really locked into the music, like where does that usually happen?
I mean, I'm from the Midwest, so I've been driving my whole life, and I moved to New York, and I tried to give up my car for like 6 months just to see if I could do it, and I can't do it. I'm like way too sensitive, like just getting on the train in a day like that, it really affects me.
It's a lot of energy.
It's not me, unfortunately. So like, really a lot of like my best listening happens like in my car. And that's because it's like my one space where I'm alone, like, for the most part. But also, I love like just being able to listen at home. My best listening happens when I feel like 100% safe. So, and so those two environments are like my two spots right now to where I really listen to. Like growing up, like I just constantly had my headphones and my CD, my Discman, and like I am like really sensitive to like sounds and like noises and like it was like just bad, like certain sounds like just like stressed me out growing up. Like I think there's definitely a term for it, I've realized, and I can control it more, but especially when I was younger, I did not know how to like control it. And so I would just literally just have my headphones on like all the time. So then that's how I did control it.
I can really identify that with that as well. Like hearing, like I know bad music as soon as I hear it, and it's not just, specific to music, obviously other sounds too, but like it just affects me in such a deep, like intense way. Like my entire body is just like so tense and uncomfortable. And also these days, sometimes I find music to be a little too overstimulating because of how, the more that you listen to music, the more that you listen with intention. Like, you're not on your phone, you're not reading something, it's just you and the record that's playing. The more intense I hear, like every single detail in things, I can tell if like, oh, there's too much, like the needle is too heavy on the record, there's too much surface, or all of these like tiny little details. And so when I'm like out and about, like I walk around a lot, so I don't even really, if I have headphones on, it's like talking is okay for some reason, but like I mostly just don't even listen to music when I'm kind of out and about, and I don't have a car, I don't have a driver's license, so but the car is like a space of like safety in regard to being able to listen to things. Like my mom would always drive me and my brother to school, and so there's still albums that mean a great deal to me that I really, really love, that were so formative for me because of that experience. And they also rip. Like Sheryl Crow's self-titled album, for example, is like one of those that my mom would just like, whatever she was going through in her life, that like couple years she played it every single day on the way to school, it's like it still means a lot to me. So do you have another thing that you would like to that you would like to play next, or should I find something? I mean, this show's about you. I'm really sorry to really put you on the spot and everything, but yeah, I'm really just this is a time for us to hang out and also get to know each other better, and this is the kind of show that I always like really enjoy, is being able to I'm a yapper. I'm a yapper, and I like to yap, and but as I grow older, I like to listen a lot more. I've been saying I'm in my mothering age, and mothers listen. So you know what? I will I'll put something on and allow you to buy you some time. Yeah, of course. This one is Coming Back by Bovell.
Coming back, so open the door.
Okay, tell us about that one, Kels. What song did we just listen to?
Yeah, we listened to "Things Have Got to Change" by Archie Shepp.
Love that
And
title.
yeah, I bought this record like 2 months before like lockdown happened.
Wow.
And so I gotta say, like, this is a record I like, I kind of like, for like, that's this record makes me think of those like just being locked down for like that year and a half or whatever, 2 years, and like, so I just listened to that record like so much, and it just like brings out like a bunch of different feelings like
Yeah.
within me, and like every time like it just like really makes me like reflect and just think about life a lot.
And have you played this? Have you played this out?
Yeah, I recently played it out in Japan at a club called Shelter, and you know, because like also it's like sometimes I just want to shift on the dance floor too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, literally, things got to change. Like, because I want to just see like something different. And like, you know, I was just like really like surprised. It was also just a reminder. I like realized like, oh, I really have this dance floor like locked in with that. Because like usually like I don't. Sometimes if you just throw on like some random jazz in the middle of like a club set, it's just people are like, stop for a second. All right, that's time to like go get a drink at the bar. You'll see them go to the bathroom or something. But like they just like really took it in and moved, you know, just so beautifully and went with it. Yeah.
Nice. And how long were you in Japan?
I was in Japan for a little over 2 weeks.
Wow. Wow. What were the highlights of your experience? I guess like to talk about it in its totality is kind of hard, you know.
Yeah. A party that like deeply affected me in New York was called Cedar Room, and that's actually where I met Sean.
Wow.
Well, like where we kind of like really, you know, came
Connected.
together, and connected. And it's thrown by Toshi and Yuki, and they lived here for a long time. They worked at A1 for like 8 years, so they did like a lot for our community. But during the pandemic, they moved back to Japan.
Yeah. I've
So-
been hearing about Cedar Room like
Yeah.
when I first got here, because you actually I think told me about
Yeah.
Cedar Room because it was the thing that folks were really like, oh yeah, like the nightclubs are cool or whatever, you know, right now like there's something happening every weekend, but like this party, like you got to go to this party, and then lockdown happened and they moved.
Yeah, I think it's something special about like just having your party in your own home. I'm like, I think about that aspect a lot. But we went and visited Toshi and Yuki in Japan, and they live 10 hours outside of Tokyo in a town called Takamatsu, where they bought a place, and now they're having their party there. So, so it was really nice to be able to play that party with them and like give back to them, you know, since I feel like they brought so much goodness and into my life.
And it seems like it's one of those parties that there's like not in the like branded like trademark community capital C sense, but like an actual community around that space and that party. Like there have been other parties which I will not mention because I gatekeep them, but there are other parties in New York that folks will like use Cedar Room as the reference point for why they really like another kind of a party, like ones that I've seen you at and that we've been to and stuff. Things that like it definitely had its influence on a very particular kind of crowd of people who just really love music and prioritize it. And I respect that a great deal. It's a hard thing to do. Like it's kind of random.
Yeah. It's just like, this is one of the first parties and maybe only parties where I just like, there's like zero pretentiousness. Like, and I can't like even explain it because that's really the only time I ever feel like, I just feel like everyone walks in like a complete, like equal, like no space is just for like the DJ. Like, it's like, you know, just very like,
Everybody's on the same level.
everyone's on the same level. And I think that's really sometimes an important factor in like, I think I noticed just like people feeling like really good and having like the best sort of like, you know, party and like community feeling at a space.
Yeah. Everybody has a role that they're playing. And there is no, at least for the course of when the music is playing, there is no hierarchy. Even if there is one person who is administering the music, like they're, you know, it ends up being like DJing in that sense ends up being more of a just like technical thing, you know, because you're just like, I'm the person who is just not to even say like in control of it, just like doesn't feel like an accurate, but I'm the person who is responsible for like sharing the music that I brought with me, and the folks are there to like respond to that music. And there's never a time when like the person behind the booth is more important than the people in front of the speakers. It's great. That's great. It just makes me want to go to Japan even more. So what else would you like to play?
Yeah, so this next one is a record I heard Brian Kasenick play actually like in the morning hours, I think, of Hot Mass. Like one of my first ever Hot Mass experience, like a long time ago. And I just found it in London. I'd never thought I would ever see the record, but I was like, and I've just been playing it out a lot, and I played it in Japan, and like people are just really responding to this, so I thought I would share it. It's called Feel It by Is Love Steal and Coco? Or what is it? Yeah, Coco Steal and Love Bomb. Feel it.
Great. Ride it. So, Kels, when did you start buying records?
I bought records probably. I started buying records maybe like 10 years ago.
Where were the first places that you were buying records?
I honestly started buying records in Flint, Michigan, where I'm from, and then Peoples and
Yeah.
just in Detroit. Yeah.
Just the Midwest shuffle,
Yeah, and
the
also, like,
Michigander shuffle.
I remember like when I first started buying records, like just Discogs. I was buying a lot on Discogs too.
And when in those early days, like, what would you look for in the records that you were buying?
Yeah, I noticed like my early days, it was just like a lot of 80s, a lot of like hip house, and yeah, just like boogie rap.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. How many of those, like, rough percentage wise, like from the early days of you buying records, like how many of those would you say that you still have or still play or?
I'm like always recycling my records, but I would say like I have like at least like an IKEA shelf full of just like my early day records, honestly.
totally.
Like, so not that much.
So you
Also,
don't
when
have
I
like
first started buying, like I was just like honestly like buying a lot too.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, once I moved to New York, I like really honed in what I needed on a record or not, mainly because like the space here.
Yeah. Big time. I mean, that's very much where I'm at. I've been trying to downsize over the course of the last like 2 years, and I made the mistake of always opting for store credit and just being like, oh, I'm just gonna get like a couple of expensive wall records, things that I usually wouldn't purchase with my own money or whatever. And now I've ended up kind of back at the same amount of records that I did when I moved a year ago to a new place. And I'm like, I want to get rid of a lot of stuff in storage. I don't really want to accrue like as many records as I feel like I will want to listen to for the rest of my life until I have that stable spot, which people don't consider until they get like suddenly have to move their records for the first time. And it's like, wait, like how many of these do I really need?
Yeah, I think like my last move, it was like 50 boxes of records, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't want like our backs, like in general. Like I'm just like, I don't know how many more times like I can carry but we got movers and stuff, but just in general, just like I'm like, we're always carrying boxes of records.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
it's
a
heavy
lot.
on you.
Yeah, it really is.
For sure. And like the folks that I know who have big collections, like, they either have insane rent control or they own their places and are just never going to move.
Yeah. And lucky for me, I mean, I work at a record store, so I do have access. So I'm kind of like, do I really need all these $2 records in here when I know if I really am feeling it, I can like just go and buy that, or like, it's at the store. So I would like just have been more intentional about what I'm keeping at home.
Cool. These days, what is motivating the dig for you? You mentioned you work at a record store, and I can imagine that kind of hones your ear to like a lot of the BS, so it's easier to discern like this one, not this one. But like, what really, when you're not at, or actually maybe when you are at work, what is something about a piece of music that will be like, oh, I need to get this.
Yeah, for me, it's like if I just feel like really emotional about like multiple tracks on the record.
It needs to have, so you have a kind of utilitarian thing about it. Like it needs to.
I mean, for me, for like sometimes like, I am, since my space and whatnot, I am like a little bit intentional about like, okay, sometimes I'm like, do I really need this? If it's just one small song, could I get it elsewhere? Could I get it digitally? I do have those thoughts, but really it's, I'm looking for a bunch of things. Like, I mean, it's just, I gotta connect to it. And, luckily I can like I'm listening to music all day at work.
Yeah.
So, if I can listen to it multiple times in a day to see, what I like about it. But I just collect a little bit of everything. So
Cool.
yeah, I'm not, looking for something like specific right now. there was like a period, maybe like 6 months ago, I was playing like lots of like disco and then finally I'm like, oh, I need some more disco records because like I've been playing out so much and but so I always have moments like that, but in particular it's just like if I feel something, I like a track that takes you on a journey.
Totally. Cool. What would you like to play next?
Well, since we just were talking about this is a record from like my very first haul of time I ever bought records. Yep.
You better wake up to what's going down. Your eyes are closed, but your ears hear the sound that cries in the wind. The thought makes you cringe. He's dead and gone. You lost another friend who was young in age but old in sin. Gang banging, hanging, he was slanging the juice. The skunk was barking, his death was the proof. Another life ended all too soon with a tag on the toe in the coroner's room. Bad times, these are for real. Bad times is what you and I feel. And by Angus where you work protect the company law. The boss must minimize the staggering cost. You get a day off, a layoff, and a letter to stay off, and now you don't work no more. That position at the plant you really did need. Head of the house, 5 kids to be. You tried everything, and it's just not fair to have an able-bodied man apply for welfare. A city cries out, it's mass hysteria. 1 wounded, 4 dead in a California area. Innocent victims found home slain. Relatives and neighbors experience the pain. They hold back tears, just got to take a stand. Order padlocks and guns in a heavy demand. The fears won't rest until all behind bars. For the rest of his life, the boy will carry the scar. Best friend, mother, father, and a very young daughter. Memories in his mind, loved ones have been slaughtered. Is there any way to compensate a person's life so great a fate? Heaven knows this can't go on. Too many things are going wrong. Who was thinking for myself? This world is turned to hell. Bad times, these are for real. Bad times is what you and I feel. Help me, all those eyes, they're all out to get me. Wars and murders, when will it cease? I'm being robbed, someone call the police. Bad times, these are for real. Bad times is what you and I feel. Weather plays havoc on the eastern states. Floods, hurricanes, and you can't escape. Tornadoes drop trees, hurling home and debris, leaving little behind for death and injury. Gonorrhea, syphilis, spread like the plague. Doctors afraid to treat the victim of age. The world is threatened by nuclear war. Americans die in El Salvador. The Pope goes pulling homes for solidarity in a speech to seek the people some parity, begging me to rate my campaign with a cord. And they'd say Reagan will run in 84. Bad education is just a revelation, but still each year kids draft for graduation. The third world sends out a hunger plea. Teenagers running loose, sexual child abuse. The Bible tells us it's just a prophecy. Bad times, these are for real. Bad times is what you and I feel.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. You can't stand it. It's just the way it hurts. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. You can't stand it. You can't stand it. I'm working bad times. Help me out. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. You can't stand it. You can't stand it. It's the way it hurts.
So off mic, you were just saying that this is a bit of a Detroit radio classic. So you want to talk a little bit about Detroit, where you started your party?
Yeah. Yeah. There's just something special about like Detroit radio, and I mean, I'm really like inspired by Mojo and just like
Yep.
everything. And if I deeply think about it, I really think like a lot of like it really kind of starts with the radio, and
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely did for me. And so, and because there was just so much vast music played on the stations, like I feel, yeah, that's really where my ear was just in tune with like a lot of different stuff. So I'm really thankful that I had access to that.
Yeah, so it just kind of like, it was a, because I think of it as this way of like piquing curiosity, because unless the DJ is calling out every single track ID, then it might be the only time that you hear that song.
Yeah.
I remember hearing, once again, Nirvana, but like, I remember hearing Smells Like Teen Spirit for the first time on the radio, and it was just, this was maybe a few years after Kurt had died. And it just like, I still like remember the feeling. It was just like, it was in the, like, one of those like radio cassette player combinations of the like late 90s, so they're a little slicker. They're not like the big boom boxes or whatever. Sitting in my the kitchen of the house that I grew up in, and it just coming, and just I'd never heard anything like it before. I just like immediately like ran to get a tape or something, or just try to find out some, there was, we had internet, but it wasn't fast enough or at all attuned enough. There wasn't like a Shazam, so it just
right.
like really came and went. So unless you heard it again and they actually said what it was, then you would never find out what that was. And it's just such an electrifying experience. It's something that, outside of, maybe this is a way that people really connect with nightlife culture, because that's a way that you kind of get it, because you're not necessarily going to go up to a stranger who's, well, you shouldn't do this. You're not necessarily going to go up to a stranger who's like in the middle of doing their job and being like, hey, what was that thing that you played like 15 minutes ago? It is a very special experience. And, in the Bay Area, when I was there, like there was Kiss FM as well, which I feel like is also the like, 80s hits, like kind of not quite black radio, but like adjacent to it. And you just hear the absolute best music, and the weekend DJs, the drive time DJs were always the ones who were just like had the most, and because New York, of course, radio is a big thing here. Like, I don't want to detract from the history here, but it is particular in other locales, I think.
Definitely.
And so that radio experience influenced your
Yeah.
So what was the
definitely.
decision to like become a DJ really for you?
I mean, I was just like, I was, I said I grew up going to concerts, and I mean, I knew I loved being around music. And then finally I got introduced to like dance music. And well, going out to a club is a lot cheaper than going to a concert to hear new music. So then that started kind of being my avenue. And actually I would start, my entry to dance music was actually like through Chicago and New York. And so I'd be like traveling to Chicago and New York. And then like once I like really started, I was like early on, but I was like, oh, like everything's right here in my home. Like,
Yeah.
But I started going to clubs like first in Chicago and New York.
What were the kind of parties that you were going to?
There was this like one specific DJ I would like follow around. His name is Boris. He's from here and he played at Pasha. So like Pasha was like my club here that I went to like all the time. I'm like a Pasha baby.
Got you. Which is, in that historic, lineage of the shelters and Sound Factory bars and places like that.
So I think so that's, I'm really thankful because I mean, my musical upbringing, like where I really experienced most of my dancing and where I started DJing was Detroit, but really I'm like a mix between Chicago, New York, and Detroit, of where I'm like really influenced.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to not be like kind of under the shadow of these big three cities.
Yeah.
It's in regard to just the density of music history here, because no matter what, you could just be super specialized on like a 5-year period and still just barely scratch the surface of the kind of music that was available at that time.
Yeah.
That's still relevant. That still sounds really good. That people still are very responsive to, and that is still in one way or another really important. And it's still a pretty young culture, like we've lost a lot of people, but we are very lucky that some of those folks are like that. Danny Crivet and Francois K and Joe Clausel and all these guys are like still around doing their thing so that they can be there for us to learn from it. Do you remember the first party that you threw?
Yep. I think it was probably maybe like a year before, like 6 months before I had you come out. It was me and my friend Fabiola and my other friend Ashton. Yeah.
All still Detroit. Well, I mean, I guess
Fabiola
Fabiola's
just
kind
moved
of
here.
here.
So and Ashton,
but still like Ashton's here consistently as
Yeah.
well. But like Detroit, really Detroit people.
Yeah.
That's my association with them. At least.
So I remember it was Ashton's first DJ gig actually.
Yeah. Wow. How did that feel?
I guess like I was like, whoa, I really just threw myself into it. I'm like, here I'm having my first party I ever threw, and now I'm like, all right, it's giving some of their first DJ gig.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was really brave, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, you learned by doing. Sometimes is like the best way. That's really beautiful. And I feel like every time we see each other, we talk about the time that you had me come and play, and I stomped a hole in the DJ
You
booth.
did. I think you like ended the night with like Jay Dilla.
Yep. FTP 143. It was I can't remember if it was maybe the second or third time that I played. It was definitely the first like not movement gig that I played there. And at that time I was like intentionally saying yes to pretty much everything just so that I could like go and experience a place for real. And, I had a lot of friends who lived in Austin, Texas for a while. And the only times that I would go were to play for like South by or whatever, which is not at all like a way to see a city, like you don't actually get the vibe of the city. And movement to some extent is the same. And, because of how important Detroit is, but also because of the friends that I had made there, it meant a lot to me to be able to like come and spend some time and like great hospitality on your part. I remember it being brick. Like it was like on the first night it was like 13 degrees or something. Like it was brick, but it was like the proper experience.
Yeah,
and
I always
very
like
much
tell
cherish that.
people are just like, oh, I love Detroit so much. And I'm like, but they go like movement weekend, and it's like so like it's a way for me to just get like real like it. I'm like, I'm so glad it's one of the best weekends ever. Of the year, by far. Yeah,
I didn't
like,
know what a real party was until I went. Like straight
but
up.
I was like, but you are not really experiencing Detroit that weekend,
Yeah.
So like I really just always challenge everyone to like just go like not movement weekend sometime too, so you can really like explore the city and whatnot. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. When I was talking about radio, and I was like, I do think like when I was younger, obviously the radio impacted me so much, and then I was just like thinking about my time in the classroom, and I taught fourth graders and kindergartners, and the next song I always say like, kids are just so like really open, and like they'll really, if you put stuff in front of them, they're gonna explore it and be open, so it's like, so nowadays it is so easy just to, here's the iPad, here's but this song, like my kids, we would meditate to it, and it's 13 minutes long, and like if I stopped it short, like they would get like upset, like
Wow.
It's just like, they really connected with it, and I think it's just like a beautiful song. I heard it for the first time at my friend Brian's record shop called the Mixtape Shop, which is also like a
Shout
place
out.
that really influenced me.
Yeah.
Shout out, go see it in the city. It's open from Thursday through Sundays, but he had listening sessions, which was like really nice, and we would listen to a whole entire album. We would like vote on it. He would like pick like 10 albums. We would vote, right? We wouldn't know which one won until we got there. We would be like just lay on the ground and listen to the whole thing front and back, like no talking, no. And I remember hearing the song for the first time, and like it just like moved my whole entire spirit.
Yeah.
To the fact I started like buying it for people because I'm like, I want to hear this on a dance floor. So like,
Oh, totally. I hear that. It's I have a friend who buys bell hooks books for people, and I started doing that as well. So I really identify with that. It's a means of communicating love ultimately, right?
Yeah.
I see you're pitching it up.
Yeah, I mean, I play it at all different speeds, like depending on when I play at 45 sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Today I'm like, I guess this is what I'm gonna do.
Nice. So Kels, tell me about Night Moves. When did you start playing there?
Yeah. I think I've had the residency for a little over a year and a half now. And we were just talking about this off, but I like love a weekday party. And I mean, I even remember in Detroit, like those were my best nights, like going out, you know, they call it like industry nights, but yeah, it's just like, especially in New York, like I love exclusivity. And I love going out.
Sorry,
with
some of y'all can't come.
and I love just like less people, so so I do my residency there every third Wednesday of the month.
Do you have regulars?
Yeah, well, so this was my last week was like my first time not having my host here with me for a year and a half, and so I was kind of like stressing. I was just like, because they kind of do all that work, because you know, there is kind of a, you know, I'm very open with like the list, but at Night Moves it is a spot where, you know, you kind of have to have your name on a list to get in, and so which I like, because then I can just kind of curate, you know, the special space. But it was my first time without a host, so I was just kind of like, ooh, like I had to jump back into that gear again of just like reaching out to people and whatnot. And I was just kind of like wanted to see the effects. Like, is it like my host, like really like inviting a lot of people? Like, is it my music they're coming from? And Gustavo's like one of my best friends. He's absolutely amazing. He was really missed, but to my, like, it was like probably one of the more packed ones. Yeah. And I have like a full dance floor like every month.
That's
and it's
awesome.
really beautiful because it takes, it's hard to go out on a weekday, but I even remember when I was a teacher, like sometimes those like weeknight dances, like they really motivated me just to wake up that next morning and get in that classroom. I would get really inspired and feel really good about it. So I try to bring that same feeling that I felt at a lot of like weekday and Sunday parties to that night. You know, I can be like, I'm really critical and always like pushing, and so of like spaces and places where I want to be, but I like never thought I would ever find this feeling that I have found at like Night Moves, where like, you know, they've seen me kind of at my worst, they've seen me at my best, like I don't hide who I am at all, and like they just accept me and never said anything about like my DJing. They just come and let me like be me. And so I'm really glad that I have that space, because I think I've grown so much as an artist and a DJ since having that. It's like the one night where I have like a guest early on that plays from 6 to 9, but it's kind of the one time like I'm not doing something for someone else, and I'm just like, this is my time where like I'm going to play for 5 hours.
It feels so special because you are such a, you know, giving, facilitating kind of spirit, but and I mean, it's older sibling stuff, clearly, like, you know, from a very early age. You know, I am absolutely the youngest person in my family. You know, I have very like younger sibling stuff. So part of my healing is learning how to take less and give more, and be more facilitating, and but at the same time, like, it's the older sibling that it's like, who's looking out for them, who's making sure that they're good and that they feel like they can really express themselves, and who's really caring for them. So it's great that you have this space where you can do that, where you can really care for yourself artistically, because it's not easy to play so much different kinds of music. We were talking a little off mic about how I'm in an era currently where I'm just trying not to get resentful of strangers because of whatever kind of perspective I'm projecting onto them, like what it seems like how people are showing up, or what they believe, or how it might not align with what I really care about, when ultimately I don't know. It's a projection. So it's kind of on me to do something a little different, so that if I continue to express myself in these different kinds of ways, that it isn't toxified by having just like one too many bad experiences with strangers. And that can often happen when you switch up the vibe, or when you play in a very versatile fashion. Essentially, when you really like music. Like, it's counterintuitive, but if you're a DJ and you really, really love music, you're not going to be that successful. It just is what it is, So there has to be some other motivating factor to continue to do it. And the love of it, and the sharing in that with others who do pick up on that, who do connect with that, I think is one of the reasons why something like a residency is so important, because you're not playing in a way to continue to get booked. It's like, tonight, this is my house. Next month, that night is going to be my house. Yeah. Like, so we play by my rules here. And being able to curate a lineup like that, or not even a lineup, but your crowd like in such a way is important.
I've just someone said to me the other day, like, whoa, you've really been like DJing like this from day one. I didn't just like the people I saw DJ, like that was kind of my mentors, but I never had like a personal mentor like to teach me, how to DJ. I've kind of just always done it how I know to do it from day one. So yeah, you're not going to like see the sharpest mixing or anything like that. But, I've come to realize, but I am, a really good DJ, and I'm glad I found a space that just like lets me, play the way that I want to play,
Yeah.
So it's
you
really
have
nice.
a voice, like you have a very crystal clear voice, and it always comes through in any set that I've heard from you and experienced, and it encourages me to continue to follow after that vibe, because I've been, in the really industrialized end of things through the touring and stuff, and it's really hard to maintain who you are at the core, because in order to garner more opportunities, there's more of an expectation that you shrink your area of interest. And I never really wanted to do that, and I tried it. It was super uncomfortable. So then I just divested. I was just like, well, if I'm going to keep on, trying to share with people why this is important to me in the first place, then I need to actually walk away in order to preserve that. And the fact that you just continue maintaining that is really important.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing is just to me is being put in a box at all, and that goes with so many things. So I'm just manifesting both of that, more of these type of things for us both in our musical journeys.
Yeah.
And so this next song I'm gonna play is called "Thank You" by Todd. So this is just a shout out to Night Moves, shout out to Sean, who's really had a big musical impact on me, and then shout out to you too for having me. I appreciate it.
So before we wrap today, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Kels, for being my guest today on Deep Exposure. It was a really great conversation. This show really shines when people come and have so much to share. So thank you. What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so just the big one I want to point out is every third Wednesday at Night Moves. I play at Public Records November 16th with Ella Hustle. And then I have like a lot of little gigs sprinkled in between.
Great.
Yeah.
She's a working DJ.
I'm working.
Yeah, she's a working DJ.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say, like, thank you so much for, like, your friendship and love throughout these years and support. It means so much to me. And, yeah, I'm so blessed to be able to be in your circle and learn and love from you.
Oh, thank you. I love you so much, Kels.
Love you too.
What's this last one?
Yeah, this last one is just, like, I kind of like to start my set with it or end it. It just, like, brings me a lot of peace. And, yeah, I think it's really beautiful. So I would love to end with it.
Great. Let's go.